Ever thought building a luxury home was picking out fancy tiles and fancy faucets? Well, think again. It turns out there's a specific sequence to the construction madness, and messing it up can lead to a real disaster. Let's jump in. First thing up when building a luxury home is getting an architect, or getting plans, or having the plans in your head so that you can tell the architect what you want. A lot of times, a lot of custom home builders have plans already that they have used, and they can take those as a starting point and change anything you want inside the home. That avoids the costly architect. However, if you have something in your head that you definitely want, an architect is somebody you need to sit down with, draw out the plans of what you're looking for. If you're building a non-custom home in a neighborhood that is being built by a national home builder, they are going to have plans from which you can choose from, and there is very little customization. And then there are some neighborhoods that are semi-custom. They're not custom homes, but you can do a little bit more with the plans that these semi-custom home builders have than you can with these national builders. Next up when building a luxury home or a custom home is a site. We have to buy some land. We have to find some appropriate land. This is very important. This is one of the most crucial steps in building the home because the land is important. Do you have a lot of shrubbery on the land? Do you have to clear the land? That's all going to cost money. Is there proper drainage? Can the land hold a septic system if you can't get a sewer in there? So there's many factors when looking for land. On top of the view, do you want a wooded view? Do you want a lake view? What's the consistency of the soil? Is it going to be able to hold a big structure? Are you going to have to dig deep? It depends on what part of the country you're in. If you're up north in Minnesota, you're going to have to dig down at least 8 feet or so in order to get to an area where there's no frost line. Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, you only have to go down about 4 or 5 inches before you actually hit the frost line. So that's why you don't have that many basements here in Charlotte unless the land has topography for a basement. All kinds of options. When you're going into a national home builder, they're going to have lots from you to choose from. The better lots are probably going to charge you a lot premium. But lot choice is important for national builders as well, but when building custom, it is very, very important. Next step is the site preparation. So you've purchased a piece of land, you've got to prepare the site, you've got to chop down all the trees, you've got to make the land nice and smooth and pretty and silky and gorgeous. It takes a lot of work for the site preparation. The price that you pay for the lot preparation is going to be very dependent on the lot you choose. Lots of stuff to remove off the lot, more money it's going to cost you. At this point, we bring in temporary water, we bring in temporary electric, and we smooth down your lot. Next step is we go to the site. Once it's all smoothed out, and we actually, I don't do it, but people who know how to do it, they are going to actually outline your entire structure of your home. And the reason why they outline it is so that they can bring in the heavy equipment, dig around the outline so that we can prepare for the first step of the building process, which is putting in footers. Heavy construction vehicles come in and they dig these trenches. The trenches are going to outline the entire home. The reason for this is we're going to put cement in there and create footers. Footers are very, very important. They are the load-bearing part of the home. They are also the part of the home that is going to be in contact with the ground underneath. Within the footers are going to be iron bars called rebar. That rebar is strong, has tensile strength, so we're going to lay rebar and then they're going to pour cement to create the footers. Once footers are put in, the foundation walls and the foundation with cement is laid down and made very, very silky smooth like an ice hockey rink. It's got to be completely flat and completely smooth. It's going to hold up the entire home. So the footers are allowed to cure and sit there for about 7 days until it's very strong. And then we begin the next part of the process, which is framing. Framing, depending on the complexity of the build and the plans, can take weeks. If it's one of those neighborhoods that is a national builder, it can take months.
It could take weeks, it could take months.
Or it can take close to a year if it's really intricate inside. The first part of the framing is going to be the wood sill plate. That is a piece of wood that is impervious to everything. Water, termites, nuclear attacks, and that wood is going to be laid around all along the footers, and it's going to be attached and anchored into your footers. So that's going to be the first step of your framing. You'll have girders, you'll have beams, you'll have joists, all kinds of fun stuff, which I'll go into another video about framing. Framing, very, very important. At this point, they're also going to put in a floorboard that's going to hold everything together. Next step, they're going to start wrapping the house, and the mechanicals are going to come in. The electrical, the plumbing, and the HVAC. Typically, you don't want all three of those trades there at the same time. First, it's preferable to have a plumber because they've got to put down all their plumbing lines, they've got to put down their drains, they have to have certain pitches. So usually the plumbers want to go in first. Next to the HVAC guys, they have ducts to run all around the framing of the house. They have to put returns in. It's quite complex and it's a lot of heavy moving, and it's not that easy to move this stuff around. You have to have a clear line where the ducts are not bent, so that because that would affect your air conditioning and your heat. Third is going to be electric. Electric comes in next. They're going to start putting in your can lights. They're going to put in your switches, not the actual switch, but the wiring for that. They're going to be putting in your panels. It's easier for the electrical people to reroute wires if they have to than it would be for, let's say, the plumbing or the HVAC. That's why electrical usually goes in last. Now let me just tell you that after every one of these steps, there is an inspection done by the local county or the city in which you're in.
An inspection.
And they're going to check off every step of the way to make sure that the job is being done correctly according to code. However, it is at this point when all the electrical and the mechanical and the plumbing is in that I suggest that you have a pre-drywall inspection. This is the last time that you're going to actually be able to see what's inside the walls before they start covering them up. I typically recommend having a pre-drywall inspection just in case somebody missed something. It's a third set of eyes. Next, they're going to put up the insulation. They're going to lay the insulation against all the pipes and all the wires. Going to make sure everything is in nice and tight. They're going to bring in drywall. Drywall is going to be taped, and they're going to mud it, and they're going to make it all look almost like a house. My name is Eli Magids. I am a real estate advisor here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas of Charlotte, specializing in luxury homes, custom home builds, and new home construction. Most importantly, I am your realtor with heart. Not looking to sell you anything, but here to help you find a home and a lifestyle that you and your family gonna love. Thinking of coming to Charlotte? Give me a buzz. If you're looking to move anywhere else in the country, I have a whole bunch of realtors who I know very well who can help you in the custom realm. Feel free to reach out with that as well. Next step is they're gonna bring in cabinetry, and they're gonna bring in your island, and they're going to bring in all the other stuff before they begin painting, because they're going to be drilling into the walls and creating a mess. So you don't want to start the painting yet. Next stop is going to be priming and painting, finishing up any kind of woodwork, any kind of trim. Next up is the trim out phase. This is where the electricians and the HVAC guys and your low voltage guys come in, and they put in their actual plates and they put in their little units. The alarm guy comes in, the guy for the theater room comes in. Everybody kind of sets everything up according to plan. It just finishes off the house so that you have everything in place. Appliances are brought in, and then you're going to have a final inspection. You have to get a check mark. No check mark, no good. If you get a red flag, it's got to be fixed before you can move on to the next phase. And final step, you're going to get your certificate of occupancy. The builder is going to get a C of O, and he's going to sell you the house. He's going to allow you to move in. That is the building of a custom home, or without the first two steps, any home at all from scratch. Now, this is a watered down version. We can get very, very detailed if you want to. Thank you so much for watching, and until we see each other again, next time.